Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening on this beautiful, lovely, summery, hot summer. It's like piping hot outside there. Of course, that's a dream. Many people say, Silver, you got many pipe dreams, pipe dreams. And I always say, well, if I got pipe dreams and you think it's a pipe dream, then you smoke the pipe and leave me with the dream. Smoke the pipe and leave me with the dream, and let me dream, because guess what? Dreams do come true, most definitely. I want to welcome you tonight, those on Instagram, those on YouTube, and those on TikTok. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Not on Facebook. On Facebook is just a link to come onto the YouTube channel, and who knows what may happen as well. I may actually move over from the YouTube, from the TikTok onto the YouTube. So definitely, please like and share. Please tell people about it. Those on YouTube, remember to like and share, and remember to tell somebody about the show. Tonight, the topic is going to be the strides of women. Strides of women today. We had International Women's Day just recently, and that was really powerful. And also something else which I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is integrity leads to integrity. Now, that's a very classic one, and that's a very funny one, because I know many people are demanding integrity from leaders all over the world. But you got to ask yourself a question: do you have integrity as well? And that's the thing. But first of all, let me ask you this question. What are you drinking tonight? What are you drinking on YouTube? What are you drinking on Facebook? I tell you what I'm doing. I'm actually going to have a glass of Merlot. Just a glass. Very one. You tell me what you're drinking. Go and have a drink. You can even have water, or what they say in Jamaica, crystal punch. You can have crystal punch as well. So there I'm just going to have not much, because I'm going to church tomorrow, but just something for the sake of the props. Having a quick drink as well, and make sure if you come in you can also have a drink. And also I always have my water with me as well. And one of the things that I'm having tonight, also I'm having some I decided to have some blackberry, and grapes as well. And these things are good for you, Come here. Yeah. So that's what I'm having late in the evening here in the UK. Now, it's very interesting when we talk about things like the strides of women, And let me just turn this thing down a bit so I can set the stage properly. Turn it way down. In the ever-turning landscape of politics, and I'm not going to talk about that one. Let me first deal with it, because there's two things I prepared today, and this week, as it is celebrated as International Women's Day, it's imperative to reflect on the remarkable strides women have made and continue to make in every spheres of society. One of the things I say all the while is that it takes women are at the backbone, the side bone of mankind, and guess what? And without them, maybe definitely there won't be any mankind. And it's very interesting that as they make, and in every spheres of life, from the boardroom to the battlefield, from laboratories to legislative chambers, women are leaving an indelible mark, rewriting history with each step forward. And I'm sure you'll agree to that. The day, which was International Women's Day, and many people celebrated, many people were saying Happy Women's Day. One of the things I said when I was walking in the park: your life may contain themes not suitable for a younger audience and has been age restricted. I don't understand that. My life is really good for young people. I just saw something on Facebook, on TikTok just came up. TikTok is crazy. I don't understand TikTok. I mean, the other day I posted something and they said it breaches, and they gave me a warning. Maybe I mentioned Trump in it, but it was like I was actually preparing for my show on Thursday night, and I play some different topics, and TikTok said it's violated. So I don't understand maybe are they going back to that period of censoring and censoring? Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you this one thing: make sure that you have, if you're a content maker, and if you are out there and you're relying a lot on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and all those sort of things, make sure that you have your backup. Make sure you got a website for yourself, because even just the other day when Facebook went down, a lot of people went crazy. I mean to say, these guys can turn off the light and you're busted. Make sure you have backup for your content and whatever you're doing. Yeah. And of course, over the years, so many people have done so many different things, because even on YouTube, even on TikTok right now, I see people coming up and it says zero. That is what it is. But people are coming up and say zero. So I don't understand what is happening there. You know, we stand on the shoulders of the countless women who came before us, trailblazers who defied societal norms, shattered glass ceilings, and paved the way for future generations. Their courage and tenacity inspire us to push boundaries, challenging stereotypes, and fight for gender equality. Yet, the work is far from over. And as people celebrate, and as we celebrate the progress made, we must also confront the harsh realities that persist: the gender pay gap, lack of representation in leadership roles, and pervasive gender based violence. International Women's Day wasn't just a day, it's a call to action, a rallying cry for gender equality and empowerment. It's about amplifying a woman's voice, advocating for their rights, and creating a world where every woman and girl can thrive, free from discrimination and oppression. So let us not only celebrate the achievements of women, but also recommit ourselves to the unfinished work of building a more just, equitable, and inclusive society for all together. So let us continue to march forward, emboldened by the strides that women has made, past and present, towards a future where gender equality is not just a dream of reality. And that's a reality, and that's a fact as well. Now, the second bit, and I'm just setting the stage here, and the second bit which I want to talk about is about this thing which we call integrity. Integrity. I always talk about this, about selflessness. I always talk about integrity. I always talk about objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. And what I just mentioned a while ago were the 7 Nolan principles, the 7 principles and the code of conduct that politician leaders need to, without a doubt, somehow try to adhere as they progress and pursue their political lifestyle. But I also noticed something as well, that while it is also important for persons to demand that, those that are demanding it also, guess what? They should also have integrity as well. In TikTok, please share this video. Please share it as much as possible. Share it. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. I'm just testing something here because I saw something come up saying that what I'm saying breaches code or whatever. And everybody listening now, what I'm talking about is some really good stuff. I'm talking about women and things like that. So I don't know what happened in there. But in this ever churning landscape of politics and government and governance, one word echoes louder than most: integrity. And I'm going to say it again: integrity. We demand it from our leaders, our representatives, our policymakers. Yet it's time we ask ourselves a crucial question. Are we, the seekers of integrity, reflecting that very quality in our own, lives? It's easy to point fingers, to demand accountability, but integrity demands reciprocity. Reciprocity. Those who seek integrity from leaders should themselves embody integrity in every facet of their being. Integrity isn't just a buzzword, it's a guiding principle that shapes our interactions, decisions, and ultimately our society's fabric. It's a bedrock upon which trust is built, and without it, the foundation crumbles. So when we clamor for integrity in our leaders, we must hold ourselves to the same standards. It's not enough to point out flaws. We must strive to be the embodiment of the change we wish to see. And this is not just Jamaica. This is not just USA. And this is not just UK. There are many countries that struggle with integrity, struggle with possible illicit enrichments and all these different things. Selfishness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, leadership. And we cannot afford to be more spectators in the pursuit of integrity. It's a collective endeavor, a shared responsibility that transcends individual ambitions. Let us not be what I would say hypocrites, demanding from others what we ourselves lack. Instead, let us be torchbearers of integrity, illuminating the path forward with our unwavering commitment to honesty, transparency, and ethical conduct. For the end, it is integrity that leads to integrity, and only through collective actions can we forge forward on the principles that we hold dear. Now, there's a maxim in law and in studying, we always talk about the maxim that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. It's always a very interesting one. Must approach a court with clean hands. And what it is saying that? It's a phrase from a maxim of equity. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. That is, the person who makes a claim in equity must also be free from any taint of fraud with respect to that claim. For example, a person seeking to enforce an agreement must not himself be in breach of it. And that is a powerful thing. So I want to say to TikTok, that's what I'm talking about. Really, some really powerful stuff. Not I don't know what. Good evening, good evening. I don't know what you are saying that on TikTok that with whatever you are guys are doing, saying that what I'm talking about is not for it's a bit dodgy. I don't, it's a bit crazy, you know what I'm saying? You know, Michelle, good evening. Balance and wellness to you. Balance and wellness to you over there, Cool Breeze. And let me just bring in my co-host there, Mr. Herbert Muschet. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening, sir. How are you doing? You all right?
Oh, is that your mic or my mic? I can't hear you. Let me see.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
You're good. Well, there's a song in
Yeah.
Jamaica they used to sing in church. You know, I don't know if you know it. I don't know if you ever step in church, you know, in your life or your past life. But it says, "I feel good, good, good. I feel." Do you know that song? I feel good.
Silver, don't be behaving like churches are only in Otrius.
Churches is
Yeah?
only in
No. It's not. There are more churches and bars in Jamaica for every square mile
every square mile.
than more than every other country.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you want to start again?
Okay. Good evening, Herbert. How are you doing? I started off today to say that it's very hot in the UK. It's piping hot, you know. And then of course I respond to myself by saying, "Keep dreaming, Silver. You have these pipe dreams." And I always say, "Well, guys, just smoke the pipe and leave me with my dream. But dreams do come true." Yeah. So how are you, man?
I'm good.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I put up a picture a little later, but we were last night we were with O'Neill. I don't know if O'Neill is gonna come. Michelle, just to let you know, O'Neill was in the UK, and I'll put up a picture shortly. But and we had some nice fish, and we went, and guess where we went to? We went to Little Ochi. Went to Little Ochi. So man from Ochi went to Little Ochi and have fish. You know what I mean? I like Herbert.
No, you ain't lying.
Yeah.
That was some real good fish.
Yes, yeah. Man from Ochi went to Little Ochi and stuff like that. And but it was great. It was great linking up, you know what I mean? Most definitely.
Yeah.
You know? But listen, I know I'm gonna have a couple of ladies coming on, and I hope maybe Michelle can come on tonight. But Michelle, as you can see, the two aspects to the topic I'm talking about tonight is the strides of women, because in recent days you had International Women's Day, which is a very pivotal thing, and a lot of people putting out International Women's Day and the great step and the trend that women has made. And I just had wanted to use it to use it as an opportunity to talk about it. But Herbert, Women's International Women's Day, what's your take on it? And Michelle, I'm going to send you the link as well.
I think it's important that we put the women on a pedestal.
Yes.
But what I've noticed is that only those women that people hear about every day are being held in high esteem. We do not talk about or much about the people who set the foundation, like the higglers,
yes,
the vendors, the shopkeepers, the people that work in the supermarket, that ensure that our day is well and good, our families are taken care of. They are our caretakers. So we need to spend more time to give them their roses instead of those people that have the OBE and the CBE and all those fancy letters behind their names.
Yes.
We need to look after those teachers, the basic school teachers who work for charity, because teachers don't get paid.
Yeah. Or don't get
paid. And especially those who are caught up in gender wars, they don't get paid because they are women, and so we need to worship those females who, despite the pittance they get for work,
yes,
right, are all going out to do what they need to do and do what they love because of our children.
Yeah. No, that's very important, and I believe that the period of time, because there's so many aspects of International Women's Day and what seeking to work out, because even when I talk about one thing I was looking at was invest in legal equality. International Women's Day, it's a time to invest in legal equality and unlock women's potential. I'm looking forward to have Rosemary Binder. She's one of the advocates. She's in Germany. Hopefully, she's going to come on. Talk about in 2024, there are still billions of women living without full legal equality. Yeah. Laws that discriminate on the basis of sex and/or gender represent a violation of the basic human rights of women and girls everywhere, and in limiting access by half of the world population to education, employment, and property ownership. Sex discriminatory laws also stifle economic growth, and that is something which is mentioned there. There's so many strides and so much more work to be done. By the way, are you drinking something? I just checking something.
Yeah. Came home from work and I made some concoction here.
Made some concoction.
Yeah. Some oats and everything that goes with it.
Yeah. And Michelle and guys, what are you guys drinking, or if anything like that?
Michelle is drinking cucumber juice.
Cucumber juice. That's what you said.
Yeah. Oh. No. That's what I'm telling you. Michelle is drinking.
yeah. I'm inviting women to share their views about the whole thing. Until Rosemary comes in. The second thing which I mentioned up there, and it's something we're going to talk about in the latter part of the show, is the whole thing about integrity. And and I've been pushing this, and many people, especially in Jamaica, not just Jamaica, just because we are Jamaicans, that we maybe talk about it a lot, but integrity is something which is being pushed about leaders, but something which Rosemary Rosalie Hamilton said to me, while we are seeking for the leaders to have integrity, those who are seeking integrity must also have integrity, you know. But then you look at it at the same time and say, well, hang on a second, I'm not the one who was voted in. It is the leaders must have integrity. But then you look at it again as what Johnny Barnes said one time. How can you take out racism out of football? How can you take out racism in certain things? Because everybody comes from the community. Everybody comes from society. So therefore, if all these persons come from society and there's a lack of integrity, maybe they are coming from society. And that's what society is comprised of.
It's twofold.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't offer, I can give. It's twofold.
Yeah.
So don't be talking about lack of integrity when you're the one fueling it. Yeah. Because if you're sitting in your office doing your business,
yes,
and I step inside your office and offer you £50 to do something,
yes,
which is normally for free, but because I know if I attack it, I won't get it done.
Yes,
but you can't get it done because of your connections, and you take that £50. I have no right to say that you've lost integrity. Because if I didn't offer you in the first place, you couldn't take my £50.
Yes.
So it's twofold.
Yeah.
So before we talk about integrity, let's take a deeper look at ourselves, at what we do, at the things that we do.
Yes.
And then we can talk about integrity.
Herbert, you're so right. Okay, actually, she said, Herbert, you're so right. Fresh juice, exactly. Berries today. Actually, I'm having listen, I'm having blackberry. I'm going talk and sip and eat and sip. Yeah. It starts when you introduce competition. Then what do you think about like in society these days where someone maybe walk into a bank for argument's sake and they have their contacts and there's a massive queue of people who are there waiting, and then they just go through and get their thing done because they have connections? Is that
of course it is.
Is that integrity?
Of course. Is
that
of course.
What's that? Integrity or corruption? What do you mean? Of course. What do you mean? What's up?
Integrity.
Is lack of integrity there?
Lack of integrity.
Lack of integrity. Yeah, yes.
Because the bank has a queuing system.
Yes.
It didn't say if your friend works in the bank, you should walk past the queue and come and see them. It says join the queue.
Yes.
Right? So everybody has something to do within a particular day. And one of those things are banking. If one so desires. Right? So you must know how much time you have to spend in the bank.
Yes.
Don't go in the bank and because you know Tom Stroke or Mary Brown, you walk straight up to the customer service agent or the teller. I'm here to see Tom Stroke. What is it about? I can't tell you. So you're expecting that person to leave what she's doing or what he's doing to go find Tom Stroke. Right? So you're being served by two people. Tom Stroke and the customer service agent. While the little old lady who has been waiting for minutes to be served has been left.
Yes.
Yeah, has been left because you are trying to play important. You walk straight in and ask a town strokes. It's wrong. Wait in the queue just like anybody else.
Yeah.
And you'll be served just like anybody else.
Someone just said that is a communist way that they call it first amongst equal, but it has no way equal. First amongst equals or so.
Can that person expand?
Yeah, cool breeze. If we can expand, it's a communist way they call it first amongst equal. I'm sensing that those who are equal, that's why they can walk up to their equal there to first amongst equals. But it is not saying that it is the right thing. I'll just wait for him to expand on it a bit more. Yeah, but even in elections, and one of the breaking news that came out of Jamaica. That's why I'm saying a lot now beyond the breaking news, because every time you have breaking news, by the time that breaking news finish break, it will change, because
it's a 7-minute cycle.
It's a 7-minute cycle,
Yeah.
So it is like there was a person named Mr. Ennis who actually said he resigned, or he stepped away from the Jamaica Labour Party, and he was going to be independent. And as a result of that, that will give the People National Party. Of course, guys, I'm talking about the election in Jamaica there, and the PNP would have 20 and the JLP 19, and then lo and behold, he changed his mind, and went back and said that was a fake alarm or alternative fact or fake news. It was something like it was fake news, but when it comes on to like persons like switching sides, there are two persons that switched sides recently. And even all the while, even in the UK, anybody that switched sides, they never seem to make any progress, because there's a level of mistrust with them, and they're normally used by those. So I never like that. I think that falls within an act of lack of integrity a bit.
It's a thing where promises kept, promises made,
yes,
and not promises kept.
Mm.
Right? So if you hire me, and based on my qualifications and our close friendship, you said to me, I'll make you manager in 6 months.
Yes.
And that 6 months turned into a year.
Yeah.
A year and a half. Right? But during that time, you've brought someone in. You've been the manager. No, I'm going to come to you and ask you, what about the gentleman's agreement that we had? Yeah? And you're not going to find some excuse as to why it never happened. And like in a typical relationship, you soon fix it. But you can never fix it. I'm going to look for your nearest competitor.
Yes.
And I'm going to jump ship, because I have something to offer that person want, that company want. Right? And when I jump ship, you're going to look at me and tell me, say, boy, he's a sellout and he's a this. But you didn't keep your promise.
And so therefore there's a lack of integrity
of course. On both sides. Because for all intent and purposes, I'm just there warming seat because I'm going to be made manager. Do I know anything about the job that I'm doing? No, but I'm going to be made manager. So the person that you brought in and have actually promoted them to manager, or you brought them in as a manager, they know the job, what they know what they're about. They know the processes that you're going to deal with. Yeah? So while you're looking out for your company, you're forgetting the gentleman's agreement,
Yes.
and you're forgetting that you are part of the deal of making me manager.
Mm.
So I'm going to bounce. I'm going somewhere where I think I can make a more valuable contribution more than just sitting down and looking at you and your manager.
Yeah. The person on TikTok says it's not what you know, but who you know. That's
There you
corruption,
go.
surely. So that's
There,
corruption
there
to
you
a high
go.
level.
There you go.
High
There you
level.
go.
Let's ask Rosemary. Hey, Rosemary Francis Binder, how you doing? Oh, you're on mute. You're muted. You're muted. Uh, I mute you or you mute? I think you need to lift your mute. Um, you need to. You're muted from that. You're
It's
muted from.
better now. Are
Ah,
you hearing me?
yes, I can hear you now. Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
I thought
Yes,
your mic was being corrupted.
yes. Are you guys talking about corruption? I'm sorry. I just got off the phone with Dr. Hamilton in Jamaica from the
Okay.
Advocate Network. So I was not able to join and to hear before the conversation. So the gentleman, you have been talking about the topic that we love so much, corruption, huh?
Yeah. I didn't bring you in to talk about corruption. It's just that your phone was being funny, so I think your link up was being a bit corrupted. So I thought you were corrupted there. Are you? And someone said when even somebody walk into a bank and there's a massive queue, and because they know their friend, I say they're like this. I know because I did it in the past. You know somebody, and they say come true, and then you feel bad at the same time because you pass a lot of people who have been queuing, but because you know your brethren, as Cool Breeze just said a while ago on TikTok, that is corruption. Isn't that
It
so,
is. It is
Rosemary?
corruption.
What do you say, Rosemary?
It is corruption. Yes, it is corruption. I see it that way. And the fact of the matter is, are, it is so ingrained in us that is only when we are probably in another society
Yeah,
and realize just how wrong this is. I can
yeah.
tell you I'll tell you a quick thing. I went
Mm,
back to Jamaica. We visited Jamaica with the kids, with my husband, and we're standing in line. So because I used to work for the hotel industry, I know all the people at the airport.
yes.
So, we're in the line, the planes, about three planes came in and long lines and people are sweat and everything. And I saw brethren at the front and he was like, Rose. And he came and got me and my husband and the luggage and everything and brought us to the front.
Yes.
No, I'm not realizing that my husband is nearly having a heart attack because we're walking past these people, we're going to the front, but because that is sort of like my culture,
Mm,
we are used to this sort of. And at that time, it was afterwards that I thought, and you know what I did?
mm,
I had a bottle, well, a bag with some bottles of German schnapps.
yes.
It's rum, really. Me no pull out one and give to the man.
Mm,
Let me tell you, when we went outside, I think my husband was gonna die. He
mm,
just could not understand that this just happened. So by the time I had to explain to him, a little bit about it, but then I had to reflect.
yes.
It is
Mhm,
corruption
It is
mhm,
corruption.
mhm.
at the highest and most blatant level. And after that, I was really embarrassed actually. But it's you do things and you relate to things based on pretty much what you're used to,
Yeah,
right? And
yes.
so, yes, I just wanted to say that to you
Yeah.
guys. So,
It
you
is
know,
it's very subtle. It's very subtle, and even though I didn't bring you on to talk about this, but I just mentioned the point earlier about integrity begets
sorry, having
integrity.
some problems with
Sorry,
my.
that's all
Go
right. Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just having some problems with my.
Integrity begets integrity, isn't it? So therefore, if you want integrity, you must show also integrity. So it is
Yes.
one thing to demand integrity from your leaders, but at the same time, if you're not displaying integrity, that is what you call being a hypocrite. You know?
Yes. Yes, and even we have to do a lot of self-reflection because having integrity. I mean, remember that's the thing you do and do it right when nobody else is watching. right? So it's a lot of working we have to do on self, even in Jamaica as Jamaicans. Um, Going forward, and I always say that is what we're not gonna get around it. That is what's gonna empower and power this new kind of a Jamaican patriotism that I'm talking about, and I've been trying to sell, where we take ownership and we take defense about our people, about everything Jamaican, and knowing that going against stuff like corruption and having integrity and teaching that to our children or helping to build it and expecting it at the highest levels is definitely what's going to help us to get to that point. So
Yes,
there's like no excuse, zero tolerance. You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes,
And that's what we're going to have to create.
yes,
Well, it can only happen when Jamaicans stop become so defensive and so allergic to constructive criticisms.
Yes.
Right?
yes.
We take everything as if the boy don't like me because me a Jamaican. The
Or
boy
in
don't
bad.
like me because of this. I'm bad man.
That's always
We need
said.
to get past that culture of
Mm.
that or and start saying he's doing it because that's his job. That's her
Yes,
job.
yeah, yeah.
I remember
Okay.
having a conversation in Brixton one day.
Mm.
A woman had just returned from Jamaica, but when she traveled, she had about 6 or 7 suitcases. Now, if a customs officer look at you traveling like that, it's to them you're taking back items to be sold,
Mm.
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
She was searched, and rightly so. She wasn't
Mm.
pleased. So she came back now and she's saying the custom boy searched me upon this. I'm listening to her. And I said to her, what give you the right to call the man a boy?
Mm.
Is it
mm-hmm.
because he searched you? Is it because he charged you for the excess that you had? Or is someone that you know? What if he didn't search you? What if he had just waved you through?
Mm.
Would that make him a man?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get out of this boyish culture or
Mm.
this girl culture when something hasn't gone in our favor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Well, most definitely. Well, Rosemary, I want to thank you for coming on tonight as well. And you know, my earlier topic, which I was speaking about, was about um International Women's Day, which was what I sort of start the show on, and I was looking at the whole aspect of where women are coming from. You know, and we just celebrated International Women's Day. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
celebrated that. Imperative to reflect on the remarkable strides women have made, continue to make in every sphere of life. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted you to come on because you're a vibrant woman to have some reflection on, on International Women's Day. So you tell us about reflection. I'm sure you must have done some things as well in
Yes.
reflection on Women's Day. Yeah.
Yes. In fact, it is my belief that, of course, every day is Women's Day and
Okay, every day,
International
yes.
Day.
So when is
International.
Men's Day?
Yeah,
That's
I've
right.
always asked that question. Do they have a Men's Day? Is there International Men's Day?
Yes.
Let's not
Last
steal this thunder. Let's focus on Rosemary. Don't answer that. Just talk about the Women's Day. We'll talk about that one after if there's a Men's Day.
Well, yes. So I made that comment about every day being Women's Day, but this International Women's Day is when we take a little pause and look at and reflect a little bit more on where we've come. We all know that in everything, women are usually put in a lesser place, so to speak, in all the major religions of the world. The place of women, we're
Yes.
always behind. That's it's almost like it's the natural order of things. that women
Yes.
should be put behind. So fighting against that and coming how far we have through the feminist movement, through for suffrage, all of that stuff, we've come very far. But you know what, Silborn and Herbert, we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. And so my focus this Women's Day was pretty much, my theme was empowered women, empower women. And so that women being not only there for women, but making sure that the strides that they've made, that they are educating girls and boys, because the success of women, it's not only based on women alone, right? It's a combination of how boys relate to them and how they relate to boys, right? Because that's the world we live in. But I think women should be very proud
Yes.
of the strides they've made. I was looking yesterday at some things that women have invented, like the paper bag, the flat bottom paper bag. I mean, I was looking like about 100 things that women have got patents for over the years, like practical stuff. And not
Yes.
only even that, GPS technology. When you think of it,
GPS.
the list goes on and on. So we have to realize that it's not just women alone don't run the world. But I've always said, if women did run the world or were in the most powerful positions, we wouldn't be at war. We would find another way.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure. I can put my head on the block for that one. I'm not saying that we haven't had women like the Golda Meirs and all those other leaders who at the time, or Indira Gandhi and all of those people who conflicts weren't going on during their times. I'm just saying that women do not, I feel in general, that ego sort of, we have all these old men who send our boys to die,
Yes.
and they're not going to the battlefront. So I think women are also expert at avoiding conflicts. I must say, from my experience. So when I make these general terms, though unscientific, it's based on experience, right? So being very proud and proud to be a woman. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Robert, you want to say something without
No,
being.
I just as I've said before, Silburn, we keep giving these women with fancy letters behind their names, the PhDs and the MBEs and all that. But the ones that are left behind are the market vendors, the supermarket clerks, those people that make our day go well. See to it that our children are looked after, even though their parents are not there. Right? And I think as a society, we need to be more grateful to those women instead of abusing them. Like teachers, they get a lot of abuse for no apparent reason. We need to have a bit more in our tank to say thank you for looking after my children or my child. Right? One of my very good friends in London now.
Yeah.
Right? I met her, I bumped into her 7 years ago in Croydon. She was my teacher from secondary school from 1984. Right? And the bond we share today is because of the care she gave me as a teenager.
Are you alluding in a way that there's a sort of inequality at the same time, or lack of equality with women to a certain extent?
Yes,
Well,
because
I would say
women are the first to look down on a woman and degrade her. And until that is wiped out, I do not think we will understand the full essence of International Women's Day.
I think it's a work. I agree with you, Herbert, and I think it's a work in progress. We definitely are not fooling ourselves
Mm,
that there is not inequality and that there are not situations going on. Let me tell you, Carla Galata, who is the founder and well, the leader of Stand Up for Jamaica, our human rights organization in Jamaica, sent
mm,
a letter to the Gleaner or to the press to be released on the day of International Women's Day. And let me just touch on some things that she said in bring it all into perspective.
mm,
Um, she said, and she highlighted that women, the abuse of women, gender-based violence, femicide, Jamaica being, I think, number 3 in the world where that is concerned,
mm,
um, and raping of women and how women are seen in our society and the rampant abuse. Although today in London or on Women's Day in London, you saw all our academics, and
mm,
in Jamaica is rife with women that have achieved and so on. But we cannot forget those who, like you said,
mm.
Herbert, are the ones that are not advancing, the ones that are being beaten down on, the ones that are not being shown gratitude,
Mm.
the ones that are suffering from the gender-based violence and stuff. In the same breath, we must say also thank you to the Jamaican government, because we have made strides where it concerns punishment for certain crimes against women, where the penalty has been may I think it's gone up now to like 1 million
Mhm.
for and with time served for certain abuses on women. So kudos, but we still have a long way to go. On the
Yes.
18th of March, I will be presenting, it's a German presentation, but I'm presenting the work of Stand Up for Jamaica and what it's doing to help women in our prison system. I'm going to highlight our paradise. My presentation is about freedom in paradise, because the theme for Women's Month in my area is women and freedom. What is it to be free?
Yes. Yes.
Um, so that's gonna come up where we are still discussing this, not just to talk,
Mm.
but to like I said, hear what women are saying, how they're feeling, and to help empower them. Today I spoke with a Nigerian woman. She told me, she said, when I realized, when I thought I felt freedom, when I realized what it is exactly I wanted to do and be
Mm.
in life. That was amazing.
I've got a video here. And one of the ladies in there is one of the person who assists me on the show here.
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to be copyrighted, but I'll just play it. If it's a copyrighted show, I'll just take it out. But there it is. I just play it. I did. Sorry. So that's that lady there, the black lady. She does a lot of my artwork. That's Dion. And it's talking about women. Um,
Beautiful, Dion.
yeah.
She did a great job.
Yes. So it's I think what is happening is we all need the support. Women pushing themselves forward. A lot of strength, a lot of strides have been made over the years. And what I when I was doing my opening and I talk about the operated from different areas, I reminded of that movie where she was calculating the maths and the figures for the space going into space. You remember that movie? Um,
Yes. Yeah.
um,
What's that woman's?
yeah,
I'm forgetting her name right now, but
yeah,
that's a badass woman. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So there's a lot of stress, a lot of ways forward, which what is happening there, and but what do you see? I mean, I was looking at something earlier, and what I saw was that, and this is a massive statistics. It says um in 2024 there are still billions of women living without full legal equality. There are major countries in the world that many players are trading with who put women at a very low level, isn't it? Nobody don't say nothing about that.
Oh, they say, they well, let's put it this way.
Mm,
You have groups that try to bring even, sex trafficking, for example,
Yeah.
or Germany making prostitution legal, for example. I mean, that was, whereas in the northern countries, they're arresting men who go to buy women for sex.
Mm.
Because, let's even look at that. Because that's one of the things too. Millions of women in India, for example, where no one wants to have a girl child, is turned into prostitution. The eunuchs are turned
Yeah.
into prostitution. These are women that are treated as slaves. And we don't talk, like you said, we don't talk about that, but we know about that. And there are those of us who advocate to bring attention to that. If you can remember, even our Pakistani Malala, who got the award that time, she was burned and all of that, because from the Taliban, because she voiced her opinion. This is happening, and what are we doing against it? For example, in Germany, with prostitution being legal. What we had to bring to, I work with an organization called Solvodi. Solvodi was started by an African nun. The organization is an international organization for girls and women in distress. So what Solvodi does is try to help women who want to come out of prostitution, who are in Germany. And then we go to the different East European countries like Romania and try to educate girls in schools that when you're promised to come to Germany for work, you do come into prostitution, your passport get taken away and all of that. That's sex slavery. And that is something that people would turn their eye against. So now we're lobbying in the German government. My girlfriend, Marietta Haganai, who heads the group here. I mean, she's taken it to the German government. We have a woman from the SPD, Leni Breimeyer, and them who are bringing it before to say, look, stop. This is wrong. So things are happening, but it might not be, as publicized as it should be. But yes, we need to have to say loud no's to these things that are happening to women in all corners of the world. And in a place, think about it, in a place like Germany, and the narrative still born that is out there is that, prostitution, and that, they glamorize it. No, it's not just sex. It's some horrible things that are being done to women. I listen to these women. I listen to them. And you know what? The double standards that us men and some women have. We visited a place in Stuttgart where there's a brothel. And it was summer a few years ago, right after COVID. And we were saying, how come all of you guys are here? Usually they're in the brothel. They said, there's nothing much going on because all the men that would come to them, they've gone on holidays with their families. I say no more.
No, that's very interesting. And when I was thinking about it again, at the same time, I was thinking about Jamaica for argument's sake. And as you know, I would say I partner with you guys. Yourself. I believe that I got a strong partnership, like with Rosalie Hamilton, Professor Rosalie Hamilton, Jeanette Calder, and Daniel Archer. And these are very strong. What should I say? Change makers. Person that want to change the landscape of Jamaica, not just politically, but dealing with the whole aspect of political education and letting people know what is their right and so like that. And more women are rising in that level. I don't know, Herbert, but what I'm picking up at the same time is that women can be deemed as the conscience of a nation. The conscience,
It depends, because some women are emotionally weak, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, they are preyed upon, right? They are manipulated by the opposite sex. Manipulated in the sense that they are forced to make decisions that they would not normally make under normal circumstances. Yes? And when those decisions are made, the fingers come pointing back at the decision maker. not the person who forced her or manipulated her into
Right.
making that decision.
Taking advantage.
Yes.
Mm.
So we have to look at both sides of the coin
Mm.
to say, are women being promoted because they can be manipulated,
Are they
or
are they
are they
easy?
being promoted because of their ability to do a particular job or task?
There's Rosemary. There's a saying all the while that especially in the black community, they say that um black women are getting on much more than black men. The question sometimes is it that they're easily managed, manipulated than the man who would be putting his foot down. But at the same time, you got some, as I said, you got some very strong men out there, and at the same time, you got some very weak men out there at the same time that are easily influenced. Um, uh, uh, are we sort of putting too much emphasis on a woman? What I'm trying to say is that isn't it the same thing on both sides?
I think when you look at adults or people or both sexes or partners in relationships,
Mm,
I think there's always the power sphere that's gonna go on. There's always gonna be the manipulation for whatever reason. People's emotions are involved and so on. But I would like to beg to say that I can talk for most of the women that I know and I'm exposed to and have been exposed to,
mm,
being raised by strong Jamaican women,
mm,
who were cane cutters, who were household helpers, who were workers, making sure that they brought 5 children who were orphaned to the level of high school, university, all of that,
yes.
just working their bare hands, washing people's clothes. I'm
Mm,
so proud of those women. And so you ought to be strong when you are then raised by such women.
mm,
There's no other way. So I think, especially Black women, coming from our history of of all kinds of things being done to hamper us, to have stones put in our ways and those challenges. We have to be strong. We have no choice. That's our history, and that's what most of us are exposed to. What we want to stop is the fact that why make it even so much harder? For example, in a situation like Jamaica, where so many things could be done to
mm,
assist and to empower and to enable the woman in
yeah.
our society, or women in our society. It doesn't have to be that we have to fight for everything.
Yes.
It
Yes.
doesn't have to be that way. You know what I'm
But
saying? But
remember,
the product of that, I stand clearly that most of us women have worked for every one of our gray hairs. And there are
Yes.
a lot of us who are there, who are empowering other women and who are making sure that the children, like you mentioned, a few of them also in Jamaica, there are thousands of women like those in Jamaica doing the hard work, doing the heavy lifting to make sure that not only our girls, but our boys are
Yeah.
gonna really see what's important and come to be that good contributor in society, and
Yeah.
not based on her spreading her legs
Mm,
or him doing whatever sexual or in relationships, or being taken advantage of. I think I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I think we are moving, and that's why the movement has to continue, right? Where we have to advance beyond that. I
uh,
know personally as a woman how hard I've worked
yes.
to be where I am. During my student years, I never slept. I slept a night, maybe about 5 hours in the week. I was
Mm,
working, taking care of my family, making sure other people get educated based on my work. I
mm,
couldn't stop working because so many other people wouldn't be able to go to school or eat or do something. And thousands of women, I would say, I nearly want to say millions, but not just women,
yes.
but
Yes.
women are doing that too.
Michelle just came in a while ago. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi,
You want?
Hi
Michelle.
everyone, how you guys
Michelle, how
doing?
are you?
Hey, good, good, good.
Good, good.
I
I'm
hope
right
you had a
along with her. I
wonderful
am right along with
Women's
her.
Day.
What was that?
I hope you enjoyed a wonderful Women's Day, although every day is your day.
Listen, do you know that I forgot?
Because she's so used to that every day is a Woman's Day.
You're used to it being every day.
My daughter was the one that said it to me, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, but hey, it's Women's Day every day, just like what you
Yes,
said.
that's right.
Yes. And I mean, I don't even look at it as being special because it's man days every day too.
International Men's Day.
Yes, it's the same because you have good men out
Still
there.
burn about them in a corner. They have to admit.
Well, no,
But Michelle, remember these days that they have, is to highlight usually the underprivileged. Remember? Because like I was mentioning before, in all the religions in right across history, all of them, women are always at the back, right?
yes, that is true.
So that's the men are there. It's almost like it's a given. The men are at. Listen, let me say something. In even in America, the health care takes care of a man's Viagra. The Supreme Court ruled, or one of them down there in Carolina or where, that the egg,
Alabama.
Alabama, that it's already
Alabama.
a baby. And so women are saying if it's already a baby, then start paying child support for it the moment it's conceived. Let's get to that discussion. But do you see any of those people paying for contraceptives for women? No, doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. Do you see them saying that a sperm, that a man is wasting 1 million lives when he wastes that?
Nope,
And I
they
think
ain't
if I was
saying
in
that.
America, I would take that up. Don't kill millions of kids. Keep that ejaculation. Don't
Keep
get it
that.
out. You would
That's
see
right.
those men squirm.
Yeah.
I am not Prime Minister or President of the United States of America.
well, in the next few months, you don't know what's gonna happen there. You know what I mean?
That's
For
right.
real. Probably need to come on over. Come on over. Because
Michelle, I'm coming to join you.
Sleepy
You
Joe
and I
needs to go
gonna
sit
start a
down.
crusade.
Someone on TikTok says, "Man is the head and the woman is the heart, not the same, but not in competition." And the man should always lead, and the woman always teach the future men and women by education and love. Is that an old saying, or is that a proper saying there? What the person just said, that men lead, women and teach, and women teach.
We teach.
I think they go together, like,
Well,
and it should be like hand in glove. What does Herbert and Michelle think?
I think there's a saying that a woman teaches a nation,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at it, us men, we really don't spend time with our children doing the homework or doing the laundry, right? The women, they go to work, they come home to cook the dinner, help the children with their homework,
Mm-hmm.
and it's rinse and repeat every day.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes all they get from the men, they're like Baron Lee's bass drum. Beat, 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 beat. Right? So we have to understand the value of women in our society.
Mm-hmm.
And if the men who live with them cannot see why they have a woman of that caliber, they're not deserve. They do
That's not
not deserve to
fair.
be. No, they do not deserve to be in the land of the living. They should be euthanized.
Wow.
Yeah, they should be euthanized, because what they're telling their children is that women, their mother, only serve one purpose. Okay? If a man should take up the shopping list and go to the supermarket, I can guarantee you he's coming home with
and
all the
leaving
money
something.
spent,
You know what?
basket empty.
You know what I always say? I always say this sometimes when I get a list to get something done. I always say they should write beside each of the products the aisle it is in.
For the mail, huh?
because I end up walking around so much, and I just say, listen, I can't bother with this,
You
man.
mean she has to
There
write
you
the
go.
instructions to the shopping list too, Silborn?
Yeah,
But you
that's
know
what.
For
what?
real.
There you go.
It's teamwork. It's teamwork. I think it's teamwork
Exactly.
and it's respect. It's
Mm,
appreciation on both sides. I remember when I gave up my studies, I was getting ready to go on to further studies in the States when I finished my master's. And I made the choice to start my family with my husband.
mm,
And I remembered the fact that I was at home with the children, and my husband worked. He was the one who went to work. Thank God that we are in a society, another society, like say other than Jamaica, where these things and the laws that are made appreciates this. For example, when it comes to your retirement, because you were the one as a homemaker, you are seen as one of the most important contributors to society, right?
mm.
And you can see that it comes from the top, it comes in the laws, but it just didn't come overnight. We have to remember that
Yeah.
there were women lawmakers who made sure that they fought for this, and so on and so forth. I feel that the success of the family structure, for example, like Herbert mentioned, and growing up, like the homemaking, I feel it's a two-way street, and it can only be teamwork and a
Mm,
partnership, one built
Exactly.
respect and appreciation. And
Hmm.
and and I say it, in any other way, it's not going to work, right? And also, we have to educate our boys and educate our girls. I do not
Yeah.
educate my daughter and tell her that her goal in life is to find a husband. I'm sorry. I do
No,
not do.
sir.
I tell
Nope.
my daughter that I educate her, or I train her, teach her, grew her to become that person that's going to contribute to society, that's going to love herself, that's going to be a great human being. And of course, yes, if she falls in love with whoever, no, that's where a lot of us differ. With whoever, that's her life. And of course, she has her religion and whatever. My son, I grow up to understand that women are not here to iron your clothes and wash your dishes and clean your floors or wash your
mm,
toilet. You can learn to do that too. And I make sure he knows how to do it, because there are
Hmm.
chores in the house. No,
Hmm.
mommy and your sister are not going to be the ones doing it. And
Hmm.
dad has
mm.
help. So it's what we teach our children, right? And I tell him and his girlfriend, I want to hear you guys argue.
Mm,
I want to hear you speak respectfully to each other. I want you to get it out. You have to speak, because that's what I find with a lot of men, and especially in certain societies. Either
mm.
they can't speak, it can't come out, this emotion, or they keep it in and then they act aggressively,
Yeah.
right? And there are fundamental things wrong with that, but we have to address those and realize for a boy to cry, it's not that
It's
imameme.
okay. It's
It's
okay.
okay. It's your emotion. Get it out. It's better than thumping somebody against the
That's
wall,
right.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have to accept these things. And when the boys cry, don't think that they're weak. No.
Mm-mm.
No,
So
it's because they're strong where they do.
exactly.
Because
My
if they
son
don't cry,
my son is 26. He's going to be 27 next month. And me teach my son all about that. Me teach my son, you could cry. Ain't no problem with you crying, baby.
Mm,
You're still a man, you cry. And let me tell you something. I talk to my son every day, and there's not a day when my son don't come off at the phone and tell him, sister, tell me, I love you, I love you, I love you. Every day, it's I
mm,
love you. Sometimes he even hang up the phone and say, oh, shit, forget to say, I love him back to him, because that's
Mhm.
just how he is. That's how I grew him. Him calm, he decided to move back to New York, move back up after he graduated high school. Him
mm,
calming down. Okay, mommy, how you cook this? How you cook that? Me stay up on the phone with him. I'ma go through with it with him. Tell him what to buy. Tell him how to do it, and
mm,
go along with him. And him not for call me again, cause him write it down and him have it all set and all cook and them things there. So you know, it doesn't have to be that it has to be just all about the woman to do this. No, the man them can do it too. My father
I
was
agree.
like that.
I agree. I agree totally
know,
with
My father was like that, you know, that
Yeah.
you know, yeah, he took part, you know.
you know, and I know a man who was cooking some rice and spraying his hand.
What was Herbert? You joking?
Listen. I don't,
That was a good one, Herbert.
with friends like that, you don't need enemies. And I said it to him, and I don't know why I said it to him. That day.
I ain't calling the names.
I still burn it hot too. I still burn it hot too.
No.
Silborn, I think you have some explanation to do.
Oh my
Herbert, why
goodness.
did you do this? No, I don't know what happened to my finger. You know what I mean? I think it was me taking some bags, and then I was cooking some rice, and I don't know what happened. Anyhow, and I just mentioned it to him by passing. You know what I mean?
You were cooking the rice or you were washing the rice? But you're not doing the rice, Silborn.
Whatever I was doing, it's spraying his
Whatever
hand.
they're doing, spraying him hand from just
That's
to
right.
rice. Oh my goodness.
I can imagine that emergency call. Please.
I went to my wife and said to her to
I
pray
guess
for
the
it,
wife
you know what I
was
mean?
like, that's all right, I'll start cooking the rice from now on.
No,
So
you're a bandage up, Silborn.
it goes to show that despite what men think or what they believe, right? We cannot go throughout this world or through our lifetime
Mm.
and not having the luxury of a woman around us. Right? I am thankful that I can do everything for myself. Wash, cook, clean, iron my clothes, everything.
That's
And I tell
right.
you, I tell you guys,
All around her.
if you come to London and you visit Herbert, I went with Herbert and there were about 6 different food was there. And I said, try that one. It was a Christmas. You're gonna go buy
Yeah,
another.
Christmas. Yeah.
Did they
Christmas,
focus?
yeah, Christmas.
There was so
Right.
many different food, man.
Herbert made up such a good point. Can I say something? Sometimes when I think about it, the incredibility of a woman bringing a child to the world, carrying this person inside of her around. Of course, she didn't make this alone. We all know that. But the mere fact, anyone who's been through childbirth or witnessed it or understood it, you know, it's an amazing thing to be able to be a mother. And I think most men have a newfound respect for their wives or their partners, especially after childbirth.
No, if they didn't have it before, nothing
said
can make
especially.
them have it.
No, they have it before, you know, but especially,
Okay.
I
You're
remember
talking
my
about those
husband
ones.
for days. For days, my husband was in a daze, thinking, and he kept saying, "Hon, that was so incredible. That was so incredible." I mean, it's like yes, the respect was there, but it's like, you know, even me myself as a mother, thinking, looking at this newborn person that is now someone I'm gonna care for the rest of his life or our lives. You know, it's an incredible thing. There's no one without a woman. There's no birth without a woman. And even men have to remember that. And I always say, if you want to know how a man is gonna treat you if you are their partner, just look at the relationship he has with his mother.
No,
Yes.
I wouldn't agree with that either. Because not all mothers are created equal.
Not all, but it's an indication.
Right? Not all mothers are created equal. And
you have some rough mothers out there, man.
Yeah.
The Bible says, Ephesians 6, children, obey your parents.
Mm-hmm.
What verse?
It goes further to say,
You in church? Let me see what verse. What verse?
Do not provoke your children to wrath. And some mothers
Do.
take it
Mm.
as gospel to provoke their children, break up their relationships with their wives and girlfriends because they want to be numero uno in their children's
In
life.
their son's
Right.
life.
And I think
Yes.
yes, I think Herbert, you have a point. There's some cases like that. I do feel though that I've always said, depending on how you grow your children, right, and they come into adulthood, and sometimes you teach children certain values, and probably in them adult life they not take it. I've seen a lot of young men, especially, who've had very tough relationships with their mothers, especially. And I've seen when, there are times, when they're not talking to each other, when there's all kind of problems. But the quality of a person who will say, honor thy mother,
Yes.
even when certain things happen, right? And I'm not saying that certain situations are not difficult, because daughter-in-laws and all of that, there are all kinds of relationships. But I'm thinking, by and large and in general, when good manners are taught, when respect is taught, when a mother says, you know what, I'm your mom, but when you're taking on a wife, you're taking it, that's your new family, right? I'm the extended family. But that's and actually treat it like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not perfect all around, but it's something we aspire towards. But I've seen many youngsters, young men, the respect, some of the gentleness, the love. Love is a hell of a thing, because I know everybody get love and are shown love. Sometimes there are some mothers who love you, but some of them can't. Whatever, people come with all kind of issues. They probably can't demonstrate it, can't show it to you. I remember once when we look at this book, the 10 or whatever, 6 love languages of our children, right? How you learn that, or you learn to show and make children, especially, feel love, because the childhood influences a lot of things later on, although it shouldn't be stopped there or be blamed for bad behavior. So Herbert, you're right. There are some situations, maybe, but we can never say all in any
Yeah.
time we make these
No,
statements. Yeah.
it's not all, and I would be out of line to say all,
No,
right?
I meant when
It's
I said
it's it's
all.
just a
Yeah.
small it's just a small percentage, and it's always been that way. Whether it's in law enforcement, teaching, no matter what, it is always a small percentage that always
Oh
seek to
yeah.
show their bad side
Mm-mm.
in
Yeah.
certain things.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, and I want, I want, I want to keep you here a bit, Rosemary, just before we wrap up. But the last bit in regards to International Women's Day, what would your message be to women? Because I want to touch on something in Jamaica, on a general. What's your message to women in regards to where women is coming from and where they are going, and for young girls
Wow.
as well? Yeah.
Wow. Women. I
Mm,
would love for women to keep finding their strengths,
mm,
to not give up at all. I
yes.
would like to implore all women to realize, though we've come a long way, that there's still a far way to go, and do not take any of our achievements for granted.
Mm,
I don't have to talk about Roe versus Wade. I don't have to talk
yeah.
about all those other things that are like backtracking as it relates to us. Our freedoms being taken away all
Mm,
over the world, trampled on, our voices being stamped out, female genital mutilation.
mm,
Today, I read it's even increasing in the
yes.
world, although we are fighting in communities all across the world to make sure that this horrible practice gets stopped. The way I found out that you could do that is to make sure that men feel that there's
Mm,
more enjoyment
yeah.
if this is not done. Can you imagine that irony? So I'm saying to women, do not give up. The main thing is, I feel, get the knowledge, educate yourself, do whatever it is to help a sister, do
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is to help a brother. Never give up, and never ever look at another woman as competition in a negative way. Look at another person, another woman especially, as someone who can benefit from you. I implore women to look at other women and say, the light in you inspires the light in me. I
Yes.
am because you are.
That's powerful stuff. That's powerful stuff. And Michelle, as usual, your powerful words.
The same thing as well, be strong. And listen, some of we too strong to, some of we push where we man to, to tell the truth, because we feel we have it in plenty of us have it in us that me no need a man. Me's a strong black woman. Me no need a man. And not that you need a man, but everyone wants a companion in their life. Everyone, you want somebody to share with and somebody
Yes.
to do things together with and build with. You know what I'm saying? So woman, ain't nothing wrong with you being strong, but sometimes you can't be too strong where you push with a man. You let the man come around and let the man feel like
feel powerful.
You're too powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Let the man feel powerful, he said. I mean.
Yeah, let the man, well, not let the man feel powerful, but just be on a level where both of you guys are balancing out each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it.
Yes.
Woman just know on
Michelle.
herself, want to know on herself, and that's just it. Know on herself.
Michelle, do you think that some of those breakups are self-inflicted by the man?
The men?
Yeah.
It depends, Herbert. It depends on who the
All right,
individual is.
Let me ask you a question. You go to work every day, 7 days a week, twice on Sundays, and you come home, you still have to cook your man's dinner and wash his clothes, and he's sitting down playing PlayStation and watching football or something on TV.
That's the no generation, then. No, that's the no generation. That. That's the no generation.
And the skinny jeans.
That's a skinny jeans thing now, honey. That ain't
all
fun.
right. My guidance
but
in
I believe in you have your husband or you have your committed relationship that you're in. It's supposed to be a balance in which, okay, if him come home before you, say both of you guys are working outside of the home, and he comes in before you, nothing wrong with him saying him start the food, and you come in and you guys can put together and say you help and finish up the food. I see nothing wrong with that, But me's an old-fashioned girl. And me's the type girl when me feel like me supposed to be the one with iron for my man and cook for my man, really.
Well, because you don't want to see train lines.
All right.
And that's just me. You know what I'm saying? It's just how I am. And I just love to know. I love to cook for my man. I love to iron my man's clothes out. I think that I'm the one that's supposed to be washing my man's clothes. I just feel like in the home, there's two different duties that each individual have. You know what I'm saying? Me just think that a man's work theme on is for outside and you are doing the lawn or you taking out the garbage, but for as a female, I'm the one that should be like washing your clothes. Me not believe that my man's supposed to wash him clothes if me living at a house with him. No way.
So because you want to wash your clothes and you want to wash your clothes and search for any spirit change, yeah?
No, not that, but it's just me. I just think that that's my duty for me to do that. You know
what? And Michelle, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think a lot of women struggle with that. I remember struggling with that, being, going out to work myself when I went back to work. But because I'm the woman in the house, I felt like I still had to do all those things. I was preparing dinner in the morning, putting it aside so you're trying to balance everything, juggle everything, helping with the homework. And it's like you're doing like double time, right? But your husband would help you, if you let him know
If you
that
let him know, of
you
course.
just feel like you have to do it. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, of course.
But as what someone says, as someone said, don't lose your femininity as this cools a man down, and if it goes, then fire. Don't lose your femininity as this cools a man down, and if it goes, then it's fire. And you put a
But
fire
that goes
sign.
both ways. But that
Yeah.
goes both ways. My mother used to tell me, whatever you do, even when you become a mother, don't forget that you are a wife to someone. Because there's everything, you have to remember your roles, and he too, right? Some people have the traditional mantra for what men are supposed to do, providers. And I find a lot of my men friends, even husbands of friends, they like to feel that their woman need them. They like to feel that they're needed, so to speak. We've had lots of discussions about that with men, but yes.
But it's not, and it's not even the fact that you need, because me don't really need a man. I would love a man in my life, but I don't need a man in my life. Me still I go through life same way, But it would be nice for you to have a companion in your life. But when you come off to say no, me don't need you.
A lot of men like to feel that way, even that they're wanted. But I hear the word need, just a little bit of it. It makes them feel, I don't know,
think,
something in their ego, maybe.
I think some men look at women as being their carers or their mothers.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Where if something goes wrong, they're quick to blame the woman that it is her fault, as opposed to taking a look inside themselves to see what went wrong and how to prevent it from reoccurring.
Yeah, accountability. Right? Take accountability.
Yeah? But us men, and it's a general statement, I think we are too needy. Some of us shouldn't have left our parents' house. Yeah? No, honestly, we shouldn't have left our parents' house.
That is so wonderful coming from a man.
Yeah? Because your mother should have taught you how to make your bed, how to even make a cup of tea. But you're going to want to take somebody's daughter to turn into a domestic helper because your mother didn't teach you how to do it. Go back home to your mother.
I learned to cook.
Go learn to wash your clothes.
I learned to cook ackee and sawfish over the phone while my mother is talking to me when I was in Kingston, going to UTech, going to class.
That's the same way all my son learned how to cook too.
She was teaching me how to cook it over the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
I taught my youngest brother how to cook curry on the phone.
My son and his girlfriend, they cook together. Right? That's a thing they do together. So they
It's a thing where when I hear a man say he can't cook, I'm looking at him and like, really?
And Herbert, that's the sexiest thing. That's it. That's the most awesome thing to have a man who is a great cook.
Who's a great cook?
That is so totally sexy.
That's sexy, man, may I tell you.
My husband is a fantastic cook. And I always have to watch to make sure that I don't put on weight. I remember the days. He's always thinking of, what is he gonna cook this time? And it always have to be special, and it is the most wonderful thing.
I remember the first time I cooked a meal. The first time I cooked a meal, I was 11 years old. 11 years old. And I cooked it on a coal stove.
Wow.
Are you finding it outside?
I'm not gonna lie, I never start cooking until me late.
It was
I never start cooking until me in my 20s.
It was cow head and beans with rice and peas.
Wow.
carrot
When
juice.
you not forgot
And-
marry women.
Right.
I remember the first time I was cooking was next door with the neighbors. Them we as kids with some go pan.
You
Joking
guys
around.
making me hungry.
Dolly house, Dolly house,
Talking
A Dolly
about
house,
nice Jamaican.
a Dolly house, I play Silburn.
Dolly house.
Speak how it finish.
You know what?
That was Dolly house.
You know
Look,
what,
man, you
Herbert?
see? Oh God.
Well,
Going
Well,
back
listen-
into the childhood.
listen.
years,
I
right?
know that when I cook, I always go for the thumbs up for my daughter. She goes,
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
Daddy.
she put a thumbs up.
yeah. well, listen. Thanks for this, but I want to just go quickly into this bit here about integrity. And by the way, I might do we just talk about this one. Who won the election in Jamaica? Has that been sorted now? We're just checking. We're not talking about
No.
Jamaica tonight.
No.
Oh.
I do not think it has been settled.
Has that been
I
settled?
think they might have to call the US Supreme Court to settle this one.
Oh, don't.
I'll go to the Privy Council. Well,
Oh,
the
the
Vibes
Privy
Cartel
Council,
thing is
that's
going to
right.
be known in
Privy Council, you
14th.
mean.
In the 14th.
Yes, sir,
Don't
Michelle?
worry.
Well,
The
let's
Privy
not talk
Council,
about
that's what I
winning or
think.
losing, right?
Yeah.
What are the results,
Yes.
right? Far as I understand it, there are 14 parishes in Jamaica,
Yes.
13 because Kingston and St. Andrew joined
Join here.
and came together. So there are really 13 mayorships or councilorships that has to go. 7, from what I understood, was won by the Jamaica Labour Party, right?
And 6.
And 6 was won by the PNP. However, Portmore, though not a parish, has a mayor, right?
2 mayors.
Yeah, oh, well, actually 2.
Yeah.
So, and that was won by the PNP, correct?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. So that's what they said.
That's-
Kingston and St. Andrew, because they tied, and because the PNP, and this is in the constitution, got the majority of the popular vote, then they won, so to speak. They get to have the mayorship.
And then the deputy would be a Labour Party
A
person.
Labour Party, because that's also set up in the constitution. So
Yes.
let's say who won? Who won? So technically it is 7 councillor seats and 7. However, it's not a
So
general election.
When you say 7, you mean 7 mayorship, municipal seats, you
7
mean?
mayor, yes, right.
Yes.
So,
yes.
so because it's a local government
Yes.
election, in my opinion, it is a draw.
It's a draw.
In my opinion, it is a draw. If it was a national election, looking at the popular vote, it's clear, and it's said, and from the numbers we are hearing, if it's honest, well, the PNP got more.
Well, actually, when you check America and the last 2 elections, the one with Clinton won the popular votes. She
Right?
got more votes, but based on the electoral college,
Right.
that's how Trump won. And even in the UK,
Not Trump after Clinton.
No, Clinton and Trump.
It
Hillary-
was Bush. Wasn't it Bush?
No, Hillary.
No, Rosemary.
Oh, you
It
mean
was
Hillary?
Hillary
Okay.
and Donald.
2006. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even the popular vote, should I say, do not win elections. But can we just break it down to the divisions then?
This was not a national election, Tilborn.
Yeah. This one he made.
This was a local government election. How are local government numbers tallied?
monitored.
I've learned quite a bit about it myself.
That's the
Well,
thing.
I think
Yeah.
my opinion is we cannot. The reason why we're having this argument now, or this discussion,
Debate.
the voter turnout is less than desirable.
Yeah.
29%. That's not
29%.
good.
You cannot have a 29% voter turnout and claim victory.
Right.
Nobody can claim
They
patriotism.
should be
I totally
they
agree
should
with
be embarrassed.
yes.
Yep.
Herbert, I totally agree with you. And the emphasis now should not be on who win or who lose. It should be an education program for
Exactly.
Jamaicans, explaining to them why they need to go vote.
Exactly.
And bring back trust in the system so that people will be motivated to take the honorary role of
There you
casting.
go. There you go.
You're right, Rosemary. You're right. Yeah, there should not be an issue about who win, I win, you win, or
We
blah
need to
blah
get
blah.
Yes.
over that. It's a waste
Yep.
of time.
Yes.
And it's very disingenuous at this point.
What-
Let's move on. Let's
What
move
the
on.
government is now trying to do, and I've said it to Silburn, is bringing this thing about election tourism.
Oh yes.
Right? They're encouraging people to buy tickets to travel to Jamaica to vote. Yeah?
Mm-mm-mm.
Herbert,
I
that's
am
why
I
the
am
voice
not-
has to be loud.
Sorry.
Pardon?
That's why Herbert has to make sure that his voice is loud so that those of us in the diaspora can get the chance to vote. It's easy. It's
Well,
not
the
not
minister
rocket
came here last year. The minister came here last year. And that was one question that I asked. And that was a question, that was the answer I got. People must buy their ticket, come to Jamaica, come vote.
Yeah, you know
Are we
what?
all time wasters?
It's not time wasters. All of us who working our money, half of it is being sent to take care of people in Jamaica and our families and support all kind of things. And on top of that, we need to be able. That's his perception that people in the diaspora, we just have milk and honey and just money just raining down from heaven, so we can just spend and do everything and donate and send back money for our families and all the remittance, plus buy our ticket to come home and vote.
So
It's a
that is
disgrace.
the only purpose. Those are the only two purposes that we serve.
It's a
Ensure that the remittances are up and our tickets are bought and we book our hotel rooms so we can go for election tourism. Right?
That's crazy.
Wow.
But I think we have to put our feet down, in a collective way, and not to say, well, if I say anything, that is the thing. If you criticize something or if you ask, let's say the government is there right now, and if someone comes and say, you know what, people in the diaspora should be allowed to vote. Everybody think you're criticizing the government. It is such a stupid thing. All you're saying, you're advocating for something that you think would benefit not only the country, but you as a Jamaican abroad, because you want to have all of us. We have a say in our government, because if we didn't have a say in our government, we would not even be having this conversation right here.
A lot of people are traveling back. There's one person I was trying to find, and she sent me a message showing her a finger. So she went down to Jamaica to vote.
Kudos.
Thing.
No.
Well, kudos, Silborn. Most of us don't know
me.
when the general election is gonna be. How you gonna plan to go?
How are you going to plan to go? Exactly. There's not even a date.
We don't know the
say,
date.
okay, on the 12th of this month or on such and such, that's when it's going to be.
Some people are
So
nervous.
how them expect for people abroad to say they're going to buy tickets to come on and vote when it's just going to be a pop-up within a month or so? You'll hear that election is next month. Come on. Now.
What is the value? What is your value to the Jamaican government, Silburn?
What is what?
What is your value to the Jamaican government?
I don't think they value us that much, to be honest with you.
Silborn, can I say a quick point?
Yeah.
I think we should hold our government to account and say, look, we will come home to vote. Of course, we will come home to vote when we know exactly when elections are going to be, when it's enshrined in the Constitution. It's going to be on this date every 4 years, whatever. Let's make a deal. We get that, we'll do our best to come home and vote. That's a start.
Yeah.
But not all of them want to come home and vote. Some of them think we need to stay right where we at and don't come there and come vote.
Well, don't ask for money then.
That's what I'm saying.
When it comes down to the money bit, people are actually sending money to their families. So that's a bit different. if you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
money for helping with their election, because
Right.
I've few people have approached people in the diaspora with their campaign and say, "Can you help us?" and blah blah blah. Independent persons. No, that's a bit different, I would say,
Right.
than than
Exactly.
than when people sometimes say, "We in the diaspora are going to hold back our money." I always say that's a bit far fetched, I must say, because people are
Yeah, which one?
actually,
What you're sending? Because I'm not. To tell the truth, I'm not. I haven't donated to any campaigns
yeah,
or anything like
yeah,
that.
people are giving money to their families or to
To
help
your
them with their
family, and
bills.
that's your family. Your family, and I have nothing to do with politics
Yeah,
and what going out there.
but
Your family
Right,
that.
but the exchange, but the foreign exchange that they're getting in from
they help the
remittance,
government, right?
yes,
So
it they
what
benefit from.
watch this.
Yeah.
If remember remember when COVID started,
Yes.
right? They said they do not want to see anyone from overseas in Jamaica
Mm.
because we are bringing in COVID.
Oh yes, I remember English people were bringing in COVID
Okay?
from London.
Okay, all
We
right
bringing
then. All right.
COVID.
So if you don't want to see me in Jamaica,
Mm.
don't go to Western Union or Jamaica National. Because if we can't come, the money can't come.
Mm. Mm.
Well, I tell your family.
Right?
Y'all tell that.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not only
Yeah.
that, there are people in the diaspora with accounts in Jamaica in banks or
There you
sending
go.
money to their family
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
and you know.
Okay, that's a
Right?
different.
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
there's
yes. Now I understand that. Yeah.
And for the government to be telling us that we do not have a say in the running of the country, but they're depending upon us to vacation in Jamaica, to spend our hard earned currency in Jamaica. That's going below the belt.
Mm.
There are other nations in the world that we can go.
Yes.
We
yeah.
chose to go to Jamaica sometimes. I
Uh,
think the government in Jamaica owe us some respect in allowing us to register and vote electronically.
Mm.
Herbert, I agree with you. I agree with you, and I also agree with you. I want to go back to the think about the remittance.
Yes.
The remittance, the money that we families. Where are our families spending that money? In Jamaica.
There
Yes.
you go.
That money goes into the economy. The government depends on that coming in for the flow of cash,
Yes.
for the whole system to function. So even on a micro level, let's so to speak, there is a lot. It makes the economy healthy. The more that comes in, the more that what even if the person saves some of that, you understand? It's also it's in the system, right? And it goes into the bank and so on and so forth. So that is extremely important. And that's why sometimes when the people say, if this month everybody decided and so we now say nothing, to let Mr. Clark see
The
what it
power.
means.
The power.
Exactly.
The power.
That
Yeah.
Sorry, and you know what, Rosemary and Herbert and Michelle, there's also some very strategic thing which are happening, whereby there people are getting money into the country, which is good because there are companies now like supermarkets or organizations whereby you can buy groceries for your family in Jamaica,
yes,
and
yes. Even
you can also pay the bills for your family also in Jamaica as well. JPS
well,
water bill and everything. So therefore
hey,
they're making it seamless now. So money going into the system.
but wait, stillborn.
Sorry?
Wait. You have
Yes.
to look where does that supermarket, which one of the accounts that money goes to buy those groceries? Because it's just like tourism, you know.
Yeah.
We hear about the billions that we're earning.
I see
But
going
none
there.
of Jamaica can see none of that the money there because all of the hotels with their reservation centers,
Foreign
they're in
owned.
Florida, they're all over the world. So although we're talking about all these billions, it's not real income for Jamaica. And number two, we can't see how our local people are benefiting from this. And one of the
Nope.
biggest problems because the money now got Jamaica, we're
It
not
not.
getting.
It's not filtering
No.
down. It's not
No,
filtering
It's
down.
not filtering down. It's not.
Michelle
Alright.
always saying that. Michelle always saying that. Yeah.
For
Yes.
example,
But then take with the idiot. Then take with the idiot people. Oh, billion, yeah.
Because
They-
right now, when all the voting are gone, and the rich people you see out there voting,
no.
Middle class don't really vote.
no, the middle class and the upper class don't really vote. No. I don't like poor people them go vote, wait, not even a benefit them.
No, I understand you got brokers now. You got brokers who are actually saying to politicians or so, I can give you 20 or 30 people if you pay me certain money. You have brokers now.
You see,
That's
that's
what
messed up, and that's not the way
Well,
it should go.
No, Silburn.
Yeah.
That
If that
can
is
be
not
encouraged.
corruption,
That shouldn't be encouraged.
If that
Although
is not
Jamaicans
corruption,
have always been frustrated.
That's corruption.
Right?
That's corruption at a high level.
if
That is
not
corruption. Of course it
tell
is.
me what corruption means, and tell me how corruption spelled.
Right. Authorities cannot, definitely, cannot with all decency, allow that to go on or encourage any part of that. And so that's where we have to hold our
Well,
leaders to the highest extent.
Rosemary,
They might not allow it that way, but doggone it, that's the
Rosemary.
way they've been doing it for years.
it's
What
been
them
going
do?
like
Go
that
around the
since
people in the
1980s.
district and go give a little bread and give a little flour and give a this and give it how much money and people. That is wrong. That's corruption.
As somebody said to me at times, is that when it comes on to election, many people see it as an opportunity. Money will go run. in a
Money
way,
go run.
and people will somewhat get they're looking for benefits at that time,
Remember,
which is really unfortunate. And that is why it's so important that there be high level of education, Rosemary, especially when it comes on to, because we're on the threshold of constitutional reform, because I believe Malahoo Ford just recently said, I don't know if you heard, she announced that they have now submitted or about to submit their proposal to the government. I don't know if you heard that. So therefore, they have now something in place now as the way forward.
Right, them have something in place as a way forward that nobody else will know about.
And
We're
nobody
gonna
else will
fight
know about.
that to the teeth if it's
Yeah.
not what we want. We're gonna and you see, Jamaicans have to understand their power. They can go out there and stop that in its tracks. And
Michelle, I'm
these
sorry.
are the people we hire to make these decisions about us. But we're not educated about the Constitution enough to take ownership of it
No,
or to even
no.
see the parts of it that needs to be adjusted. We're not saying change the whole Constitution, we're just saying change parts of it so that it can work for the people and let it be a document from the people. When you don't take ownership to something, it's like it's foreign. And this new kind of energized Jamaican patriotism that we want to go forward with, saying that we are the people of today and tomorrow, and we are going to protect us as a people. And we want everything good that benefits the Jamaican people. And we're not taking no excuses for that. Then we can't accept something that's halfway. We have to go full way. And so that's what Jamaicans have to be energized and know that it is possible. They have to see the reality, but it's up to them.
Yes.
And they can't sit down and be quiet about it. Them gonna have to fight for it. And they have to be energized to do it. Or else
Dog name or supper.
talking alone not going to help us.
Dog name
You
or
have to go
supper.
there and
if
act.
But-
Yes.
And your government
As-
is that, and that your ballot talks. Yeah, you can go to the poll and vote. And that's why our effort right now is to get Jamaicans more educated about some of the things around them and how
Exactly.
they're governed. And so that the decisions, how they can influence decisions from the grassroots up. So the work not even start right yet. So there's so much more to be done.
Michelle,
Rosemary.
what is the term you always say? Power in the people. What do you always say a while ago?
The power of the people is more powerful than the people in power.
Yes.
Right.
Okay?
Right?
Herbert,
We
yes.
come together.
As I've always said,
Mm.
Jamaicans vote for politicians and not the policies.
No,
Because it's been changed
Herbert.
now.
Look
Sorry.
at the last
Yeah.
poll. No. They voted on the issues this time, Herbert. Look at the last polls. And it's a respected poll, even when you're looking at the error. And that's why things turned out the way it did this time. Look Look at it. And I know of communities where they were giving out the box food, and they give out a Heineken, and they give out 2,500 Jamaican. And
Yes.
I know of communities where people take that and no vote that way there, or they wanted them to vote. So
Yes.
Jamaicans are getting smarter. And they realize, and it's positive, they voted on the issues. You know what somebody said?
Yes.
My vote was cast the moment the government gave themselves a raise of 214%.
Yes.
There you
And
go.
that's how it
There you
started
go.
from people.
There you
They
go.
didn't want to hear nothing else
Yeah.
after that couldn't
There you
change.
go.
That's what I heard. I'm not
Mhm.
in Jamaica, but I have the ear on the ground there. And
What I
that's
can
Mhm.
what I can say, and what is very important, and that is what I'm going to also be contributing to, is a high level of education as much as possible on these issues, especially following on from this election. I saw where the politicians started to get jittery because they realized that the people were actually taking their rightful place. And if people take their rightful place as the boss and treating the politicians as their political servants, not political masters. You know, we always used to say political masters all the while, the masters, the political masters.
They are there to serve.
We need to change the game, change those words, change those
Mhm.
narratives to say that the people are the boss and they are the political
work for us.
servants.
Yes.
Well,
And Jamaicans have to believe that.
Yes. And
Stillborn, I think this was a wake-up call.
yes, yes. How do you
the
think
good
then?
public servant.
How do you think then
I think it
people,
was
more
a wake-up
people,
call on so many levels.
yeah. How do you think more people will be galvanized to realize that they need to come out and vote? They need to
I,
I know. Sorry,
go on,
Herbert, go ahead.
yeah.
I think the government should not wait 6 weeks before an election to go to the people.
Yes.
It should be a
Like a year
continuing,
and change. You're
yeah,
preparing and you
town
get
hall
the people
meetings.
ready.
Educate the people
Yeah.
what you have done, what you are going to do. Let the people hold you
Accountable.
accountable for the
But the
things
thing
that you
about it is that the
said you're going to
Jamaican people
do.
them don't even know that because all they
Right?
are about is the colors and the party.
And
Them
that's
no-
why I said, the Jamaicans vote for politicians and not the policies. Because
they
if you tell me that you're going to fix 200 miles of road, resurface the whole works, but when time comes for election, patchwork is going up. Patchwork is going up. No, last year told me that you're going to fix 200 miles of road.
right.
So where is it just before election or you're patching the road? What are
Right,
you trying to say?
right. And a lot of Jamaicans saw this as an insult to their
Of course
intelligence.
it
I heard
was.
men on the road in Negril say, yeah, see them a come patch up the wall, you know, because election did that. We didn't take man for idiot. Let me tell you something. If I was advising the prime minister, and I'm not, or any prime minister for that matter, I feel the moment you take office, after an election, your campaign begins for the next election
Of course.
based on every single
Of
thing you're
course.
going to do. You're not gonna pass at everything, you know. You're not gonna
Yes.
be able to
Frozen.
deliver everything, you know. But to do, we
Yeah.
didn't reach it, but this is the plan to do it, and we have started.
There you
What
go.
about
There
that
you go.
one? That is what we do. And you see this going to the people, we call it somebody said it's the wholeness effect, that they're going turn up. And you have it,
It didn't
the
turn up.
Trump
Did
effect,
it turn up?
turn up. And Trump effect, now you just full up the airwaves and people will pay kind of foolishness. But anyway, that's what the MAGA group is looking for. Don't get me started there. But anyway, it should begin. And you have to take your
Yeah.
populace seriously. Is a new kind of education that's even needed for our politicians. We pay their salaries, and you can't go in there and even have the House Speaker saying and talking about the things she's gonna table and what she's not gonna do, and what you work for us. Please,
Yes.
you're accountable to us. And the moment Jamaicans start to take that stand, but some of them don't know. the power that they have in their
They
hands.
don't.
Mhm.
They don't.
You
They
understand?
don't.
So we are teaching them
Plenty of them don't know.
how to.
That's a
Yes.
very powerful bit
No,
about
problem.
the
So
people.
they have to learn
Yeah.
how to do that. How they can group.
Yeah, there's a very powerful bit about the fact that the people do not know all these bits, because when I see what's going on in the house and holding off a lot of these reports, I just realize and say, hang on a second, whose business is this? Is it as a family business or a local clique or something like that? This is a nation
Yes,
business.
Silver.
These things
Because
should be released and let people
listen,
see what's happening.
listen.
High level of transparency should be the order for them.
From day one, when the new speaker was appointed as speaker, there should have been a revolt in Jamaica.
There should have been a revolt. Yep, Herbert. Yes.
Yeah?
That's conflict. That's
You cannot tell me.
conflict of interest right there.
You
Conflict
cannot
of
tell
interest.
me that me and you get up off a same pillow.
And
I'm not
you
going to
have
nation's
speak on me a
business.
prime minister.
Coupled with the fact that the Minister of Justice is telling people, sit down and keep them more quiet, because even if she wrong, she right.
Oh, yes, I remember. You remember that, Rosemary?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I remember
Even
that.
if she wrong, she right.
I remember that.
And then the
Herbert
thing about it,
and
that
Michelle,
not even the other party even uproar against it. The other party, I didn't even see the PNP party, them not even uproar against it.
What
It's
did you
just
say?
like
Okay.
do. We're just going
Sorry,
along.
let
me hear.
Rosemary was about to say something. Rosemary, what you
Yeah.
saying? What you
The
say?
other side of that is that she was in line to get the position, right? Because she was the person who was the deputy, so to speak. Now, two things. I heard where someone was saying, how must she then give up her position when it's rightfully hers because of a man? Because her man, her husband, is the prime minister. Whereas in my case, I wrote on the First Lady's page, and I said, I think, and when people were trying to batter her, I said, I hold our First Lady. I'm going to hold her to account at a certain level. She will say thank you for the position, but say in light of my husband being the prime minister, I will remain MP and I will remain your First Lady. And
right.
she could stay up there and say, it was my dream as a young child to reach the heights of government and to even be able to be, because, the speaker, they also is a big deal. Right?
Oh, yes.
Right.
But in the interest of not only integrity, transparency, everything, and leading and setting an example for my people, the woman would have gone down in our history as a legend.
Yes.
Right. Let me ask you a question now, right? Dalrymple is the speaker, right?
Was you said if she's the speaker or was
at the time? No, at the time she was a speaker. Yeah. You then appoint the deputy speaker, someone who you share your pillow with. The skeptic will look and say,
was it an appointment or was it by vote?
No,
I'm not sure about that. I can't.
By recommendation coupled with vote, right? The skeptic will say he had a pre-arranged plan to get rid of the speaker, to get his wife in that seat, to have total control.
To have total control. Exactly, Herbert. Yes.
If that is not
I'm not sure. I'm not informed.
If that is not a step towards communism.
Yep.
And autocracy.
Yep.
It is surely not democracy.
Yeah, well, we know that, or the democracy, we are proud of our democracy, but we know that, it's being eroded in many ways and forms.
Yes,
And so that's why we have to still fight to defend it
yes.
and make
Well,
sure that people are informed about it.
yeah, well, definitely we have to keep the momentum on this and so like that. Michelle, I saw something. I don't know if it's a breaking news or beyond the breaking news, but member of Biden's cabinet taken out of DC tonight as part of Cold War era tradition. Biden's educational secretary Miguel Cardona was relocated from Washington D.C. to ensure continuity leadership in the event of a catastrophic scenario wiping out the entire presidential candidate. Fox News. Is that what's going on over there? Are
If
you
it's
okay
coming
over
from
there?
Fox, it can't be credible.
If it's coming from Fox, me no want to hear
It can't be
it.
credible.
Stillborn Sidal, what are you doing?
I just
Listening
read.
to Fox.
I don't know because I haven't watched the news in like 5 years.
Okay,
Oh
well the
my
next one is
For
okay.
real.
Okay, the next
I
one is
haven't turned on a TV
Yeah.
in my house
okay.
for like
Okay.
5 years now. I haven't turned a TV on in
Okay.
my house.
Well, beyond the breaking news again, expectations high in Waterford community that UK Privy Council will free cartel in Thursday judgment. You
They
know
can't
what?
go and dream. They can't go and dream.
I don't know about them. one.
Jamaicans must understand that there's something called law and order,
Order.
and there's no one that is above the law. So said A.V. Dicey.
But anyway, they were with O'Neill last night.
Oh,
O'Neill
they
was
go
here in the
O'Neill.
UK.
Okay.
Little Ochi, man from Ochi and Little Ochi. There's Herbert as well. O'Neill passed through the
Is
UK.
there a little
yesterday.
Ochi place in London?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Little Ochi.
the fish is good, Rosemary.
Oh, hold on. It's a
Ooh.
Little Ocho. Why them have it like that? I just saw something. Did you see
Yeah.
that? Little Ocho
Yeah,
International, and they have Little Ochi at the top. What's going on there?
well,
What? Can you
They
explain that?
meant
Herbert?
Ocho Rios. They meant Ocho Rios. Little
Well, why they say
Ocho
No,
Little
no,
Rios.
Ochi
no.
and then they say Little Ocho? That don't make
And
sense.
then the name of it is Ochi because
Listen.
it's Little Ocho Rios. But it's
What-
Little
the-
Ochi. That's the
What's
name.
going on there, Herbert?
So the person who
The
is
Rosemary
writing
just
it,
explain it there.
the person who is writing it,
Michelle, I love you.
is a hybrid thinking person. The crafty think English and patois.
Okay. So they
Ocho Rios.
have,
No, remember say Ocho Rios. please.
well, Ocho is now.
Rosemary,
And then
Boscobel is now in.
Yes.
Ocho
Well,
Rios.
Boscobel is
Little
now in
Ochi in
Ocho.
Jamaica is in Alligator Pond.
Yeah,
Have you been
down
there
at St.
before?
Elizabeth.
I've been to
Yes.
Alligator
Stillborn,
Pond.
are
Yes,
you
I
from
have.
Ocho Rios or from Ochi?
I'm from Ocho Rios.
See there?
But they're calling Ocho everywhere. Even Boscobel is in Ocho. You know, Jamaica.
No.
Ochi
Ochi is in Boscobel.
a plane now, you know. Ochi a plane now.
Yeah.
Ochi is in Boscobel.
Stay there.
Hey, Stillborn, don't let me start on that airport.
Shouldn't
Don't make me start on that airport. That's
Stop.
another night.
You have 2 minutes.
Let me tell you something. I
Yes.
was listening. You see that airport? Here's another case of Jamaicans getting a big
Backside, them shut her
airport
down.
and then
Oh,
people still a struggle to put.
Yeah.
Who shut me down now? And people
No.
still struggling. A lot of people in Jamaica struggling to put the bread on the table or buy a half a chicken. Or children getting lunch in school, or
Mhm.
even our schools being repaired of the leaks. But we have an airport, and guess what? I listened to the speeches of the big tourist people and everybody, how
Mhm.
great it is, and it's going to be a benefit. And my question in the chat, a benefit to who, sir?
To
No,
the tourists
listen.
them coming in.
No, they had to do something with that airport because up until 2 years ago, it was a major transshipment point for ganja going out of
No, and they
Jamaica.
never dig it up. They could just dig it up like how
But-
them did dig up sometimes part of Vernon Field.
No, but you're talking about making use of something as opposed to destroying something Because remember, with the importation and exportation of drugs,
Yes.
these people are benefiting financially.
Mm.
Now, if you break that, you're going to have a bigger problem. So you have to look at the side of turning something or making something out of nothing. And I
still
think
look
that's
at
the best thing that they could have done with it.
Yes, Herbert, I still look. Anything that's coming that's not going to benefit my Jamaican people directly, me look at it twice. You know that those cars, although the road's bad, when they're driving from Montego Bay, coming over to Portland, however them coming, people stop on the way, them use the toilet, you know, at like a bar, them buy a drink, something on the road. We get rid of all of that. They're coming directly in there. And still those roads up there need a lot of work. There's so many things. Thinking who is benefit, the investors coming in, you know, to finish up that and whatever. Everybody going to make the money and whatever, and still the people them in the area around. What is that going to bring to the community?
The locals,
having an
them
airport?
It's not benefiting at all. It's not benefiting
Right.
the locals.
Are they going to have shops around here to sell things to tourists? Are we going to encourage them a little arcade? You know, let them get a real taste of Jamaica. Let people, when they come in, go to the farmers market.
Rosemary, you're right. You're right. The 2 minutes is up now. You're right. We need a show for this. We need a show for this one, especially.
It is
it's bedtime.
It is just like the Falmouth Dock.
Yes.
The locals do not benefit of Falmouth.
Yeah.
I know. We have a lot of fixing to do, Herbert.
Let's do something one day about and get some locals on board as well, especially the craft market people.
Yes.
And the raft market.
I know a lot. We can get the connections in.
Get somebody from the craft market, get somebody from the rafting, get somebody from on the ground and so like that in these tourist resorts to see if they're actually benefiting and is it trickling down. Because somehow along the way there's something amiss. Definitely, and I believe that is a message which has been going through to the government as well, that it is not trickling down. All these breaking of grounds are so. Who said it to me? Was it you, Herbert, that said them break? No, somebody said they broke a ground for the fixing of a road which has been existing for years, Brownstone Road, going to from Runaway to Brownstone, and they break a ground, they're breaking bread. Is there bread?
Listen, the Prime Minister is a typical landlord.
You know, I respect our Prime Minister, but there's a lot that we need to do for the Jamaican people to make sure that they are benefiting.
Yes.
The Prime Minister is a typical landlord. The landlord only come about at the end of the month to show you that he's still around. At the end of the month
when it's time for collect rent.
Yeah.
Collect rent.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
The Prime Minister was out loud and about because it was election time and he was showing people that he's still relevant or trying to be relevant.
All right, guys. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tonight.
All right, good night, everyone.
Wait, Michelle. You're Minister. Good night, Michelle. Minister say, you know.
Thank you, Michelle. Make sure they don't put Trump in office.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Rosemary, Francis, and Binder. You're gonna Binder. Actually, I need to speak to you about somebody that I know named Binder. Actually, from Honduras. Actually, we talk about that. I just remember a while ago. Michelle, have a good night. Herbert,
have a good night, everybody.
Some of shit. Don't chop up nobody tonight.
And my brothers and sisters.
And Anil just arrived. He just messaged me a while ago. Say he just arrived.
Is it?
Yeah.
Power to the women.
Power
they
to the
give
women
birth to the men.
Yes. All right. Take care of yourself.
Okay, dog.
All right.
Good
Peace
night.
out.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and those on YouTube, those on Instagram, and also on TikTok as well. Have a good night, and may God bless you. Topic tonight, of course, we're talking about the strides of women, being International Women's Day recently, and also we're talking about integrity leads to integrity, or integrity begets integrity, meaning to say that if you're talking about that you want the government or you want someone to have integrity in leadership, and I use the 7 terms or the 7 tenets what should I call it? Of the principles or the code of conduct. Let me just repeat them here, and I'm going to look at it. It says selflessness. Holders of public office should act solely in terms of the public interest. Integrity holders, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty. Therefore, if those who are actually wanting to hold these persons accountable, you must be like equity. Those who come with equity must come with clean hands. So therefore, we all have to sort of shape up, or we ship out as well. God bless you, Cool Breeze. Thank you. And sorry about that mute there earlier. I'm just getting used to all these things here with TikTok. TikTok is going a bit crazy these last days as well. So have a good night. God bless you. And remember to like and subscribe to the show. I much appreciate that as much as possible. Okay. Peace out. And God bless you. Bye-bye.